It all begins with Lucas, a lonely and hungry boy living in a cruel world split into two kingdoms. Above him is the floating kingdom, where royal blood decides your value. And below him is the dark kingdom, where monsters, fear, and death walk through every corner. Lucas has no royal family, no special power, and no one waiting to save him. But even then, he protects his poor village like a nobody carrying the duty of a king. Every day he fights with nothing but courage, hoping he can keep the people around him alive for just one more sunrise. But one night, that small hope is crushed when monsters attack his village and turn everything into a massacre. The children he tries to protect die right in front of him, and Lucas is left broken among the ruins, holding a pain no child should ever carry. Just when that grief is about to swallow him completely, a dying old warrior named Sobi gives him a mysterious black sword and reveals a truth that changes his fate forever. From that moment on, Lucas has only one goal: to become the King of Darkness. Long ago, high above the world, there was a kingdom floating in the sky, ruled by a white cat queen with a round face and deep blue eyes, while far below, a poor black cat loved her from a distance. And from that impossible love, the real story slowly begins. A powerful moon warrior with white wings appears, staring into the sky as if she can hear something no one else can, and she quietly says the sky itself is hurting. At the edge of the kingdom, a small village is drowning in fear because wild monsters shaped like rabid dogs are attacking everything in sight. The soldiers try to protect the people, yet the beasts tear through them without mercy, while the little children run away with Lucas staying close, fighting with whatever strength his body still has. Then a giant worm-like monster crawls out in front of them, disgusting, huge, and terrifying. Lucas tries to stop it, but the creature is far stronger than him, and in one cruel moment, it eats the children like they are nothing. Lucas manages to save one little girl for a few seconds, holding her tightly and trying to carry her away, but her body is already giving up. She dies in his arms, and that single moment breaks something deep inside him. He cries like a helpless child, not because he is weak, but because he knows he failed the people who trusted him. Carrying the dead girl, he returns to the village, only to find the whole place destroyed. No villagers, no soldiers, no crying, no footsteps, not even the sound of life left in the streets. Everyone has been killed by those monsters, and Lucas starts digging graves alone because he cannot leave them lying there like forgotten bodies. While he is digging, an old warrior appears and notices that Lucas has not eaten for a long time. This old man is Sobi, and when he sees the huge grave Lucas is digging, he asks where the nearby village went. Lucas tells him the village is gone, its people are dead, and he is digging so he can bury them all properly. Sobi gives him bread and Lucas eats it fast, like someone who has been starving for days. Sobi asks for his name, but Lucas only says, "Call me whatever you want." Everyone used to do that anyway. Then Lucas asks why the King of Darkness lets monsters destroy villages like this, why he does not protect people and let them live happily. Sobi says the king probably cares about other things, then asks if Lucas is really planning to keep digging forever. Lucas says there is still too much left to do, but instead of letting him sink deeper into grief, Sobi throws a sword toward him and says he will teach him how to become strong. Lucas picks up the sword and Sobi attacks him without warning, forcing him to defend himself while telling him that if he wants to protect people, crying will never be enough. Lucas asks if killing one person to save many is really something someone can decide so easily, and Sobi says yes, because sometimes that is the cleanest choice. Those words burn inside Lucas, and he rushes toward Sobi, demanding to know who he is to say something like that. Sobi admits he is only a fool who once tried to become king and failed, but someone with Lucas's heart should at least try. That is the moment Lucas makes his first real decision. He says he will become king himself. They fight until Lucas knocks the sword out of Sobi's hand, and Sobi is stunned by how naturally he moves. He tells Lucas that he once fought the current King of Darkness, then orders him to take the sword and go to the capital, because whoever carries this blade is recognized as the head of Sobi's family. Lucas must announce himself as the Prince of Darkness and the heir of the Dark King. It sounds almost too strange to be real, as if the world is suddenly pushing him toward a throne he never asked for, but Sobi also tells him to find a knight named Fallow. After that, Sobi dies, and Lucas is left standing there with the sword as a strange light begins to shine around him. From there, we learn that this world is called Zero, and it is divided into two great realms, the Sky Kingdom and the Earth Kingdom, or more clearly, the Kingdom of Light and the Kingdom of Darkness. In the Sky Kingdom, the girl from the beginning is revealed as Queen Aerie, the ruler of the sky, and she is using magic to fight a dark cloud that keeps giving birth to monsters. Her soldiers use light stones to gain power and push back the darkness. But even at night, Eri sits with worry in her heart because they barely survived the last attack, and each time the darkness returns, it becomes harder to stop. Meanwhile, Lucas reaches the capital with Sobi's sword. A man notices the blade and asks where he got it from, but Lucas avoids the question and asks where Sobi's palace is. The man calls him a thief, attacks him, and demands that he return his master's sword. Lucas asks if he is Fallow, and the man freezes, shocked that Lucas knows his name. Lucas explains everything that happened, and after hearing the full story, Fallow accepts him as the new master of the family and tells him to come see his palace. Just like that, the starving child who was digging graves becomes the owner of a palace, but this new life already feels heavier than it looks. At the same time, in the Sky Kingdom, Eri is talking warmly with her assistant Shima when a soldier rushes in and reports that the monster Baal is attacking the western capital. Eri immediately orders Shima and Feo to prepare the soldiers. Baal is no normal monster. He wears golden armor and destroys deserts and soldiers as if they are tiny insects under his feet. The fairy leader, Alan, tries fighting him with lightning, water, and fire, but nothing works. Alan even traps him inside a lightning prison, yet Baal breaks it with one hand and releases a terrifying attack from his mouth that wipes out everything in its path. Alan is about to be finished, but Eri arrives at the final moment and saves him. She fights Baal herself, though his body is so powerful that even her magic cannot leave a scratch. The Dark Soldiers stop Feo and the others from helping, but Feo defeats them and clears the way. Eri casts a spell that fires a red beam like burning flame, yet Baal blocks it with one hand. She tries to use the rune stones to summon stronger magic, but stops before draining all their power because the kingdom would be left defenseless. Baal leaves, not because he is scared, but because he is bored. No one there is strong enough to make the fight exciting for him. After he disappears, Eri uses her healing power to treat the injured soldiers and civilians, while Shima tells her that Dark Soldiers attacked them too, and some humans were mixed among them. In the Dark Kingdom, the leader of the monsters meets the Dark King and complains that monster followers should not be sacrificed so carelessly. The Dark King releases a terrifying aura and kills him instantly. Fallow tells the king there was no need for him to do it personally because someone that low did not deserve his hand, and Fallow could have handled it himself. The Dark King asks why the Sky Kingdom is still standing and says he will not rest until darkness swallows everything. He orders Fallow to turn the entire Sky Kingdom into darkness. Later, Fallow meets Lucas and asks where he has been. Lucas says he serves the King of Darkness and wants to learn how to use the sword. Fallow gives him books first and tells him that if he wants to rule, he must understand how a kingdom works, not just how to swing a weapon. Then he trains Lucas with the sword and quickly realizes that the boy is growing at a frightening speed. Soon, he even gives Lucas Sobi's old clothes. Somewhere outside, a girl named Groz, one of the candidates to become the next Dark King, is traveling with her soldiers when dark monsters attack them. Her guards try to protect her and tell her to step back, but she ignores them and kills the monsters herself. One creature survives and attacks from behind, but Lucas appears in an instant and cuts it down with a single strike. Groz is impressed, so she takes him to a restaurant for dinner and asks what he is doing there. Lucas says he is also one of the candidates to inherit the throne of darkness. She notices his sword and asks where he got such a beautiful weapon, but Lucas stays silent. A red-haired boy sitting at the bar speaks up and says that blade is the Great Black Sword. In the Sky Kingdom, Eri keeps thinking about the destruction Baal caused, and Shima enters to tell her she is going to supervise the repairs in the western capital. Then the story moves back to the time before Eri became queen, when she and Shima were both candidates for the throne. Eri invited Shima to dinner with her younger brother Teo and her older brother Fio, who later became captain of the guards. After dinner, Eri heard a voice telling her that the true queen must protect the balance between light and darkness, and from that day, she promised herself she would protect that balance no matter how heavy the cost became. In the Dark Kingdom, the day arrives to choose the next heir. Groz gathers 6 candidates and announces that whoever wins will receive the greatest sword of darkness, while she will personally supervise the trial. The first challenge is simple but brutal. Fight dark monsters until only 2 candidates remain. The battle begins and one candidate uses a fire spell, but the monsters do not even slow down. Lucas saves her, shocking everyone, and after he defeats the monsters, an even larger beast appears, stronger than everything before it. Most of the candidates panic, and when the monster grabs one of them and nearly crushes him, Lucas saves him too and kills the creature. Only 2 real candidates remain, Lucas and the red-haired boy from the bar. But one defeated candidate had only been pretending to be dead, and he suddenly rises to assassinate Lucas. The red-haired boy saves him. Lucas asks why he helped, and the boy replies that Lucas had done the same thing earlier. later. Then he says he does not want a weak opponent, which is why he saved him. He warns Lucas that anyone who wants to become King of Darkness must abandon others and never depend on help. Lucas answers that if this is what a Dark King is supposed to be, then he will change what that title means. Their duel begins, and their strength is almost equal. After a long fight, Lucas knocks the red-haired boy's sword away and places his own blade at his neck, but refuses to kill him. The boy asks why Lucas is sparing him, and Lucas says he wants to change the world and make people happy. The red-haired boy grabs his sword and attacks again, but Lucas defeats him a second time, and this time the boy accepts defeat. Graz announces Lucas as the Prince of Darkness and the first candidate for the throne, then gives him the greatest sword of darkness. After the competition, Lucas and Graz go to tell Fallow about the victory, while the red-haired boy follows them and introduces himself as Adele. He asks Lucas for his name, but Lucas does not answer. Fallow appears on the path, and Adele greets him as the Knight of Darkness. Fallow looks at Lucas and says his face already tells him the result, then gives him an important letter that must be delivered to the Sky Kingdom. Lucas takes the letter and looks up at the sky for a long time. Adele asks what he is thinking, and Lucas says he is wondering what he must do to truly become the King of Darkness. Meanwhile, Feo tells Eri that a message has arrived from the Kingdom of Darkness. Graz takes Lucas and Adele on a magic ship, and they travel toward the Kingdom of Light. Graz warns Lucas that he is only there as a messenger, and the two kingdoms are still enemies. Adele tells Lucas that he is terrible at speaking and might get them killed, so if anything goes wrong, Adele will act as the real messenger while Lucas pretends to be his personal guard. When they arrive in the Kingdom of Light, Feo meets them with his sword drawn and asks if they are messengers from the Kingdom of Darkness. Adele shows him the letter and tells him to lower his weapon because they did not come to start trouble. Feo says they are enemies and dark monsters always attack them. Adele replies that they did not come by choice, but because the king sent them, and they do not agree with everything the king is doing either. He says that if both kingdoms join forces, they can defeat the true threat and live in peace. Feo takes them to Eri and orders the guards to take their swords. He asks when they will leave, and Adele says they will go today if the talks finish. When they stand before Eri, she looks at Lucas in a strange way, then says she has read their king's letter. She explains that the relationship between the two kingdoms is already broken, and if this continues, one kingdom may be destroyed, which will shatter the balance between light and darkness. Adele agrees, but says they came for a different reason. They want an alliance to defeat Baal, because he is destroying both kingdoms. Eri says that after Baal is gone, the Dark King might simply attack them again. Lucas cuts in and says only the current Dark King is targeting them. Adele adds that the current king plans to retire and hand the throne to his heir. Eri says she will think about it. Feo takes them to their rooms, and Lucas asks about Eri's personality. Feo gets angry and warns him to watch his words because not everyone has the right to speak so casually about their queen. Adele quickly apologizes for Lucas and says he did not mean anything. When Feo leaves, Adele scolds Lucas and says the people of light are sensitive, proud, and always believe they are right, and Lucas made too many mistakes in one day. Lucas only says that Eri feels different from everyone else in the Kingdom of Light. Later, he walks through the palace and finds Eri sitting alone in the garden. He stops at a distance and watches her quietly, unable to look away. The next morning, they stand before Eri again, and she asks Lucas what the people of darkness truly feel. Lucas tells her that every time Baal appears, he kills many people and puts the rest in danger, and this alliance could save lives on both sides. Eri accepts and says they will stand together against Baal. The next day, Feo is beside the queen's throne when Shima enters and asks where Eri is. He tells her Eri has gone to defeat Baal with the messengers from the Dark Kingdom because they seem like good people, and Shima should meet them herself before judging them. In the Earth Kingdom, Baal attacks again, but this time Fallow flies into the air using dark energy and faces him directly. He tells Baal he will defeat him and will not allow him to take even one step into the Earth Kingdom. Fallow uses a fire spell, but Baal blocks it with one hand and destroys many soldiers with a single hit from the other. Fallow is shaken and cannot understand how to handle him. Graz uses that opening and orders her soldiers to attack with arrows and catapults, but none of it affects Baal. He charges toward Graz and she uses lightning magic against him, but that also fails. Baal becomes irritated by the soldiers on the wall, destroys the entire wall, and wipes out the defenders. Elite soldiers surround him and begin a combined sealing spell, but he defeats them before they can finish. Graz uses that brief chance to trap him inside a dark energy prison, and Fallow joins her with their strongest combined attack, creating a huge explosion. Graz thinks they have finally finished him, but her expression changes when Baal walks out completely unharmed. He releases a powerful light attack that freezes both Graz and Fallow, leaving them unable to move. Just as he is about to strike them down, the Dark King appears and saves them at the last second. He tells Baal that from this day onward, his name will be the World of Selfishness, because no other name suits him better. Their battle begins, but Bao blocks every move from the Dark King and appears even stronger than him. Bao prepares his strongest technique to finish everything, but at that exact moment, Eri enters the battlefield and binds him with chains of light. The Dark King uses that chance and creates the strongest seal, a terrifying prison called the Dark Prison Tartarus. Eri looks at the Dark King, and without saying a single word, she walks away. That silent moment becomes their first meeting. After the battle, Fallow gives Graz a letter and tells her she must deliver it to the Sky Kingdom, because now that Baal has been sealed, the alliance has finally succeeded. And Graz begins saying that this is happening because she will finally meet the Prince of Darkness. And in the Sky Kingdom, Shima goes to meet the messengers and thanks Adele for helping them defeat Baal. But in that same moment, Lucas sees Eri entering the kingdom. He leaves everyone behind and runs toward her, so the others are surprised and ask where he is going. But of course he does not answer because Lucas has his own silent charisma. He reaches Eri, but before he can properly speak, she becomes weak and faints. Eri tells him that she has fulfilled the conditions of their alliance, and soon Shima, Fayo, and Graz arrive, all deeply worried about her. They quickly learn that she is safe and only exhausted because she used too much of the runestone's power, so they decide to take her back to the palace so she can rest. Shima begins using a strong healing spell to treat Eri, then tells Fayo to go and inform the messengers about the result of the battle. Fayo goes to the guest room, asks permission after already entering, and Lucas looks at him like, "You are already inside, so why are you asking now?" Adele then tells Lucas that he likes Shima, the queen's assistant, and Lucas also likes Queen Eri, so both of them should help each other. Lucas instantly denies it and says there is nothing like that, but Fayo cuts in and asks what they are talking about. Lucas asks about Eri's condition, but Fayo gets angry and says it is none of his business. Then he tells them that they have fulfilled the alliance conditions now that Baal has been defeated. Adele tells Lucas that their mission is finished, so they should say goodbye to Eri and return to the Earth Kingdom. When they go to say farewell, Lucas thanks Eri for accepting the alliance, and she tells him that protecting lives and keeping balance is her duty, and that is why she helped them. Right then, news arrives that another messenger has come from the Earth Kingdom, and Graz enters, greets the queen respectfully, and hands her a letter, saying she must read it. After Eri opens the letter and reads it, her expression changes, and she tells everyone that the Dark King has requested an extension of the truce until the damage caused by Baal is repaired. After that, Eri takes them around her kingdom. While they are walking, they see Teo, Shima's younger brother, healing injured skybirds. Fayo reacts and says, "Didn't you say you would join me and become a knight? There is no need for you to learn healing magic." Teo explains that his sister Shima taught him healing magic, then says he will not join the knights because if he does, Fayo's rank as vice captain will drop, since Teo will become much stronger than him. Shima then comments on the messenger's clothes and says they always wear black, so Graz answers, "And you people always wear white." This turns into a small friendly moment, and they all agree to exchange clothes with each other. Fayo and Adele change clothes,